Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to episode 6 of NBL Alumni with Fox Sports. I'm Jai, your host, and this episode we have former Illawarra Hawks import Justin Robinson. Justin, thanks for having us, mate. How you going?
Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited.
So obviously we're going to talk previous episodes. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the show. Previous people we've had on the show is Alan Williams, Antonius Cleveland, Tanner Groves, Jordan Crawford, and then James Bateman and Keandre Cook. So you are James Bateman and Keandre Cook were part of the same episode. So you are the sixth alumni to appear on the show. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, because we know how busy it is in Europe at the moment. So just give us like your insight of your college experience and then how it led that into the NBA.
Yeah, first of all, the group of guys you've had on the show before, that's a good starting five. I could do some numbers. But, for me personally, went to Virginia Tech, close to home, but still far enough away so that my family could come. Had a really good time there. I broke the all-time assist record. Went to the NCAA tournament 3 times out of my 4 years. Had a really good career there. We went to Sweet 16 my last year. We lost to Duke at the buzzer, heartbreaker. But my college time was phenomenal. Did really well in ACC play, really well in non-conference. Just kind of made a name for myself then, and then draft night came around. What some people don't really understand about the draft is kind of after the first round, like middle of the second, you kind of can decide if you want to get drafted or if you think you have a better situation somewhere else. So at pick 41, I got a call to get drafted on a two-way. I said no because the Wizards were telling me that they had a 3-year deal waiting for me, so it was kind of perspective at that moment. Rookie year was up and down, didn't really get much opportunity. We kind of shifted from going with the young guys to trying to win, and I don't know if we had the roster to win. And after that, I had a brief stint that rookie year, and then COVID hit. Went to G League bubble, played really well.
The G League bubble, wow.
Yeah, played really well. Was supposed to go to the NBA bubble. Something didn't pan out well, but then I ended up signing with Oklahoma City on 2 10 days at the end of the year. They were tanking. That was actually the year going into drafting Giddey. My time there wouldn't have been that long. Then after that, had a time in Milwaukee on a two-way after they won the championship. That was phenomenal. That was my actual first trial and error of the NBA. I got some minutes, was in the rotation. It's my first time with adversity in the NBA, so it was kind of a mental breakdown for me. I wish I knew then what I know now. I think I could possibly still be in the NBA at this point.
Well, you would have been, 23 at the time? 23, 24?
Yeah, 22, 23 at the time.
Yeah, okay.
And then went to Detroit to end that year, played really well, had some good spurts there. That's when it all came to the decision to make a choice on going overseas or staying there.
Now, prior to you did the Milwaukee, Detroit, and did all these 10-day contracts, and you went to Summer League and stuff in 2022. Prior to you coming to the NBL in Australia, had you ever been outside of America at that point?
No, I hadn't been outside of America. And my co-agent Sammy's from Australia. You guys probably know him. He is a big advocate for Australia and Australian basketball. So he had always talked it up. And then kind of that summer came to a decision on what to do, the possibilities of going to the NBA, waiting around, or just going somewhere else.
Were you aware what the NBL was? Did you know anything about it prior to joining?
No, that's kind of where he filled me in, gave me the breakdown of the lifestyle, the basketball style, just how much he loved Australia, and he was a big advocate.
I think where you are at now, personally, I think you're at a really good spot in your career, and I think someone of your stature who's been around the world now and played with many different teams, especially in Europe, that perhaps the NBA isn't these days all that, you don't need just to be in the NBA. You can actually make a really good life as a professional basketballer in Europe, in Australia. Like, it doesn't need to be, the show time of the NBA, which I get that's a goal for everyone. They want the NBA is the highest point talent-wise, but you've gone in and out of the NBA system, and then you realize I need to make a big decision here at such a young age, and then you've taken the big jump and gone to a completely different continent, other side of the world, joined at the time, a team that was pretty struggling, the Illawarra Hawks. So you signed with the Illawarra Hawks. It's the 2022-2023 season. I think everyone knows the history of what happened with you. You play the first game, you tear your meniscus in your right knee. That's you done for the season. Can you just give us a quick, just your thought process during that time, what it was like?
Yeah, I mean, obviously for me, like I said, the maturity level that I'm at now is a lot different than when I first came to Australia. My mind was set on the wrong things. Like, obviously, they tell you it's a quick season, all the scouts come, it's the easiest way to get back to the NBA, and that's kind of like the pitch, right?
Yep.
So, like, I had a really good preseason. I was, like, really amped up. Just the group of guys we had that year, I thought we could have made a really good run at it with what we had going. Then that first game, when that happens, and, like, when you hear meniscus, I was thinking, like, oh, I'll be out 3 weeks, and I'll come back. And then when they told me that my season was done, like, I, didn't know what to do, obviously.
Yeah.
I was heartbroken, and just, like, the idea of now my brain is like, well, I can't go back to the NBA, let alone I'm all the way in Australia. I got to call my family and tell them what happened.
Yeah.
And they're so worried about me. I know I'm fine, but they're worried. So it just, like, put an extra level of stress. But the one thing I will say is, like, I tell my family all the time, if I could move to Australia tomorrow, if it wasn't so far away, I would do it. Because the way that, like, getting injured in Australia is, I mean, you could be in a lot worse places. Just like where I was in the Gong was fantastic. Just like the peace that my teammates brought me, the energy, the way the organization handled it led me stick around. That's why I stayed around so long that first year, because I wanted to still be a part of the team and saw they were struggling and still wanted to have that voice and just tell the fans and show the fans that I was appreciative.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's, not every player needs to go through that situation, but you've obviously come out and you've put a positive spin on it, say you've grown and you're more mature from it. So that's a pretty good way of looking at it. And then Illawarra Hawks that season finished 10th. They went 3 for 25. And then you only originally signed the 1-year deal, and then there was conversations obviously in the off season to bring you back.
Yeah, kind of when it happened, I told my agent staying around that long that, I didn't really care what else was coming to the table. I wanted to pretty much start it when I finished, no matter how that came about. So as soon as I left to go back home, I had my agent call Matt Campbell and see if they were interested in me signing back. Jared and them, I talked to everybody. Just kind of gave off that vibe, like, look, I want to come back. I kind of want to see what I can do coming off an injury and things like that. And then they just kind of put that on the table and we went with it.
Now to see you've done the rehab, you've come back. It's the 2023-2024 season. You've come back. I love this roster. I love this season, despite, you guys get going out in the semis. That season, I felt for you was up and down in terms of not so much what you were producing on the floor, but, and you were getting the starting minutes and then you were off the bench. And there was a bit, ebbs and flows in terms of your season. And then the finals come around and you just went ballistic in those, especially those 2 games, one against New Zealand as well. So just explain to me. So did you find it difficult compared to, G League and NBA and stuff, the physicality and everything, now that you had a full season under your belt?
I wouldn't say I found it difficult physicality-wise. Kind of like the same kind of vibes of G League with the spacing and pace. Yeah. Just like from an ego standpoint, I wish I could redo it, only because of the fact of, I'm coming off an injury and sitting out a whole year. So I think expectations for me personally and from the outside was kind of unrealistic in game of the season.
So who was setting those expectations for you?
I think at that point in my career, I was paying too much attention to social media. Even like the ownership, saying, oh, look, after the second game of my season against the Phoenix, I had a really good one. Kind of like not the pressure of like, look, we really do think you're still an MVP caliber player, because that was kind of the up and down come in the first year, like I was in that conversation before injury. Then like that game kind of made me have unrealistic expectations for myself throughout the season, knowing I'm going to battle up and downs after sitting out a whole year. And just like that season really tested me mentally, like as a person and a player. Obviously, like you said, the up and downs of Jacob getting released, kind of the fingers being pointed at me a little bit, like, rambles of, maybe they're going to release me, maybe this is going to happen. Like it was kind of a slap in the face at that point, but at the same time, like it's helped me grow as a person. It's also helped me realize how much of the social media warriors are just talking behind the screen, and even commentators in the league just want to have something to talk about and a little bit of flow on social media and get some traction. So at that point, once I realized that, even after leaving, it kind of helped me. But that year, like you said, up and down, kind of just controlling what I can control, putting too much effort and energy into the thought process of, why is this happening to me? But at the same time, like finishing up the way I did was a big testament to, kind of the mental growth that I had throughout the year. Like I didn't have the season I wanted, like numbers will show it. I didn't shoot it well. But I mean, there was a lot of games that impacted the game in other ways. And, I'm just grateful for how my teammates stuck with me. The organization kind of stuck with me throughout. And I'm grateful.
Yeah, I was going to go into that. So I think you, alongside Gary Clark, whenever I do NBL Alumni and I post saying, what player should I do next? Your name came up a lot. And so did Gary Clark, because he seems like such a chill, very informative, knowledgeable person behind the scenes. Were you guys close together?
Yeah, no, we were always hanging out together. That's my guy. We still talk to this day, even with him being in Japan and me over here. We play Call of Duty together. We went through the trenches together, right? Like, he started off slow and then had a hell of a season. So, I was happy for him as well. It kind of boosted his career over the water a lot more. And just like we would always talk to each other, right? Like, we're going through a hellhole of a season at the beginning and we're trying to figure it out because, we're the imports. We're supposed to kind of be the people to lean on. And even with the pressure, we were just trying to talk it all through. But, the one thing about the Gong is he was out in the community a lot. And everywhere I go, I try to get out in the community and meet the people and just kind of make it feel like home and let them know that I make things feel like home. Like I go where I'm loved and give love where I go.
Yeah, and I going back to your previous comment. I know you said that it was you had a lot of pressure on you and everything, but I'd like to think if I was a team overseas looking at your stats and everything, this guy's come off a full season, a meniscus tear, and he's coming back, dropping career highs. 26 points twice, and you did a lot of stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Like you showcase a lot of hustle and just energy. The amount of times you had trying to hype the crowd up at the Gong and everything, like that stuff. Players have it, they don't. You just have that characteristic. So. I think it's pretty impressive what you did for coming off a season injury to return and have that type of season. Even though you yourself say you faced the mental challenges and everything. So, but it's who you are today. So you got to commend yourself for that. So we're going to move on to you finished up in Illawarra. So you're now playing at Paris basketball. Some of the biggest teams, biggest leagues in the world and Europe. It's actually crazy where you are and where you've come from. So you finished up at Illawarra. Was there any conversation after that 23-24 season where it's like, I might come for a third year, but at another team, or is it just, I'm out?
Honestly, the taste that was left in my mouth was I'm out.
Yeah. Okay.
Like right after the season ended, I ended up getting a lot of calls to go finish up in Europe. And I decided to go to Briogen in Spain to the ACB because, the domestic league is probably one of the best outside of the EuroLeague and the NBA and things like that. So I thought that would have been good for me, and that's the decision I made. And, it kind of paid off, like just being able to get thrown in the fire there. They're playing not to get kicked out of the league and relegated. And, I was built for those pressure moments, I felt like. And coming off of what happened in the finals or semifinals, just felt like it was going to make the trajectory of my career go trending upward.
So now people can see on the screen, these are the three teams, well, two teams you signed with and now who you're currently with. So Briogen, if you want to do some alumni comparing, that's where Keandre Cook is right now. So he played for Brisbane Bullets. So I want to get to Trapani Sharks because I find this team so interesting, especially as of late. This is a team that Matt Hurt played in the league last year for Phoenix. He signed with these guys after you. So just give us your time through Trapani, because I felt like once you left Briogen and signed with Trapani, you really elevated your game and you had some big games. So how was the experience in the Italian league?
Oh, it was great. Obviously that team, we were the Trapani Shark. We were the first year in the first division. They had won the second division the year before. And the owner was adamant on, I'm going to pay guys to come and, compete and win the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like once that came to the table, the amount of money they were offering, the situation of, you're playing against, Virtus Bologna, who's in EuroLeague, Olympia Milano, and then the other good Italian teams, and just like the jump start to what this can do for you is huge. So, I went there where we had a really good team. We had a team that, beat EuroLeague teams, competed with EuroLeague teams in the preseason. And yeah, I mean, it was interesting, right? Like we're in Sicily, we're the only team in Sicily. Once again, I go from the gong on the beach to Trapani on the beach, and it's just kind of calculated like couldn't
Yeah.
beat it.
Wow.
But yeah, it's like that, like you're saying, the fan support. Like I literally brought my niece over, my mom over, and my brother to experience it because in the city I couldn't walk around. Like I wasn't able to go to dinner without getting stopped, without just, people see my car on the road, they're going to stop, pull over.
Oh my God.
And like, just like the fan love was amazing, right? Like they sold out every home game. We always had home court advantage. And then on the road, we would travel 600 to 800 people. So like you can imagine that. And the support there was fantastic. I mean, the ups and downs that we even went through there that season, in first place or second place going into the midseason cup. We get upset in the first round, and then, our president starts, the fans are calling for people to be moved and all this stuff, and it's just crazy. But yeah, I mean, that year in general that's when I was feeling like myself again. Like I had the year in Australia, and then I played the 9 games in the ACB, and it gave me a lot of confidence boost again. And then that year I just really knew what was coming. Like played some good games, and EuroLeague team tried to buy me out throughout the year. But like I said, I want to stick to where I start. And yeah, I mean, we lose in the semifinals in a series I don't think that we're supposed to lose. But yeah, I mean, that season was great. Like I said, just the way that all went through. I mean, you saw what happened just recently with the team. It's kind of sad for the fans.
It is sad. And so for context, for people listening, so I think I was posting on my socials about 2 months ago when it started. And last month, that's when they had the 2 guys on the court just because they needed the numbers there to avoid fines. And now, as of 3 weeks ago, the team's been completely removed from the league, and the owner and the president were fined €600,000, which is an insane amount of money. I want to say you dodged a bullet. You probably joined it like the perfect time, but as someone who's played there, you played with them for nearly 30 games. Like, it can't be fun to see because you have the fans are the ones who are going to cop it, and like as a former player, like you don't want to see that.
Yeah, no, it sucked because I kept up with them all the time. Like I still talk to the guys that were on my team the year before. Still close with the coach because like once the decision was made to come to Paris, he was the biggest advocate. Like, look, this is going to be great for your career. Like, obviously, I would love to have you if you want to come back, but you're a EuroLeague player. You need to go. You need to experience it. And, like, just the relationship I built. Like, even the owner, after I signed with Paris, I was in Miami. He was there. We went to lunch. And like I said, for the fans, they're diehard. I loved it so much. Like, I was actually looking into getting a property there.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, just a little summer home. My niece loved it, so it's kind of like, a testament to that. And then just how they treated me and my family there. It was like huge for us. The food was fantastic. And it just sucked to see it happen, like the guys were kind of scrambling after the situation going on. Everyone had to find a team, which shows who those guys are because it's hard to find a team mid-season. But just the situation, and like, they were standings-wise, wins and losses, they would have been first in the league before all that stuff started going down. And it's just sad to see because the plan was coming together. But, you got duties to kind of upheld and upstand to, so.
Yeah, this is like the reality of basketball, and this is why I do these episodes with these players like yourself, because it's not just, it's not black and white. There are things that happen in between players' journeys, especially something like just like draft NBA, and then that's it, G League. There are actually players out there who are, sometimes you're not on teams for more than a season, and you're constantly moving around the world. And situations like with Trapani in Italy, it just sucks. So take me through the conversations between Trapani, Italy, and then, like you said, you've gone to Paris. So just to give people some context, Paris are a very new team. I think they started in 2018, and you've only been in with this season. You're playing very well. We're going to play some highlights soon. just on in the background. Give me like how it is to be on a stage like that, because I follow the socials. Their cinematographers and all the social media guys are fantastic. They take the crispest photos I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The NBL need to up their game in terms of that, because some of the outfits you wear and just like the 4K quality is so good. So take us out of the experience. Like, what is it like to play for a big club like that? And especially in, people don't realize this, Justin Robertson, who used to play for the Hawks, is playing in EuroLeague, one of the biggest comps outside the NBA. So just take us through like a day in your life playing for Paris basketball.
Well, it's sick overall, right? Like, obviously, you get to travel all around.
Mm-hmm.
We play pretty much the same amount of games as the NBA schedule, domestic and then EuroLeague. And we get to travel, right? So we've been to Valencia, Spain. We've been to Dubai. We've been to, just name the places. Madrid. We've been to Barcelona. We just played there. We've been to Milan. You travel all over in EuroLeague and you're playing against.
So I'm assuming that's better than going to Adelaide, Sydney, Melbourne and stuff.
Don't get me wrong, though. Australia, I tell people all the time, look, if you can go play in Australia, do it, because the
I hear that a lot.
Traveling to, right? Like, they're still great, but it's hard to touch like what's going on in EuroLeague. And then you go to Serbia, you play in an arena where the flares are going off. It's 21,000 people. You can't hear it. It's deafening. And just honestly, for me personally, I like it more than the NBA because the stands isn't a fashion show. It's like people that are actually born and raised into being a fan. Like, they
exactly.
die for their club. And,
yes.
It's crazy when you see it you think it's not humanly, but, you beat a team on the road in a big environment. You might get a bottle thrown at you or fans trying to rush the court. And it's it's a fantastic feeling because that's what you want to play in front of. It's hard to beat. But for me, we travel so much. So a day, normally I practice in the morning. If we travel, we'll go to the airport, fly, play, come back the day after. And then, it's a lot worse places you can be than living in Paris. There's so much to do. There's so much opportunity. But yes, it's a lot of wear and tear on the body. But like I said, it's hard to beat. I can't lie. Some of the teams in EuroLeague, they have their own planes. They fly private all the time. But like you said, Paris, it's only the 7th year in existence. And, the way that's trending, they've won every year, starting from domestic to Euro Cup to getting the EuroLeague. And then now they're just flying,
Have you met Omar Sy?
Yeah. He's comes to some of the games, and I didn't know he was. I didn't know he was that big of a deal until my boy. He was watching the game, and he was like, "Yo, you'll have a big actor at the game." And I'm thinking ooh. And then he told me, I was like, "Yeah, bro, that's the owner." You know what I mean? He was like, "Oh, no way." I'm like, "It's cool, bro." And then Paris is big city, big lights. Fashion Week was just here, and then you always have big time names of the game, which is cool, which gives off that American NBA vibe, but just different behind it.
You're quite fashionable now. You've upped your game a bit from the NBA.
Man,
days.
I can't lie. I had a little bit in Australia. It just wasn't as much flaunted. You know what I mean? It wasn't as much publicity. But like you said, our media team here and the EuroLeague is just fantastic, right? And obviously I'm in Paris, the fashion capital. It helps me. I like it.
You're doing well, Justin. You're doing very well, mate. I want to touch on your very first EuroLeague game, what it was like for you to be on one of the biggest stages, because EuroLeague is immense. It's just, there's NBA, then there's EuroLeague, and then there's the rest. Your first game, the vibe, was there ever a thought in your head going, flashbacks to that 2022 season where you did your right meniscus and your right knee, and to now I'm here playing in EuroLeague for Paris? Do you ever have these pinch myself moments?
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously everything I've been through in my career, being waived a couple times in the NBA, bouncing around, dealing with all the politics, getting hurt. Like I told you, going through that mental standpoint throughout that season when I came back from injury, and just where I'm at now, right? That first game we're playing in Istanbul, Turkey against Fenerbahce, who just won the EuroLeague championship. It's huge. A big night for them. It's kind of the intro to their championship. The fans are crazy. And, it's just wow, I'm looking around you're really back to where you're supposed to be. And just that vibe, I have a good game the first game. It just kind of set the standard for me in terms of like you really do belong. You can really be one of the best in this competition, and just continue to go with it.
Well, it was November last year against Olympiacos, and I know you remember this game. So run us through this game where you scored 35 points, you hit 7 threes. I think your team, unfortunately, you didn't win the game, but just run us through that mindset of like when you know you're on, especially in front of this crowd and, on the away soil as well. What was your mindset going through this after you hit your 4-3?
Man, it felt like I couldn't miss. And yeah, I mean, that environment alone was probably 15,000 in the arena.
Yeah.
My mom and my girlfriend, I actually flew them to Athens for this game.
Oh,
You can
my
probably
God,
see
that's
them on
so
the
cool.
baseline celebrating right there. But yeah, I mean, Olympiacos has been a club that's, talked to me a couple of years in a row. And in the preseason, I had a really good game against them. So it wasn't like a, shell shock. But that game alone, man, I really thought I was going to will us to a win. Nadir was sitting out with a back injury.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought I was going to put the team on my back to win it. We came up short, but just that idea of the flow that I was in.
How do you find playing in Europe? I asked every alumni this, just compared to the NBL. Sorry, it's just like, how do you find playing with Paris and the system they do? Like,
I think it's way more physical. It's way more tactical as well. Like it's
mm-hmm.
and the European coaches are bar none. They know their X's and O's. They always have a counter. They're really on top of, scout situation. And then like the club I'm in, Paris, we're one of the only teams that are running gun. Us in Valencia, we up the pace. We try to score as many points as we can. And like for me, I mean, it's a good part of my game, my speed. So being up and down, pushing the pace, and having freedom to, shoot some shots that wouldn't be good in other organizations, it has helped me, right? Like it puts a lot of stress usage rate up high, but just being able to, when we go into a game, see another team, like, damn, we got to play them tonight. Like it's up and down.
Well, something I find really interesting and I find a bit ironic is how, you're going back to your NBL days. You said you felt you really didn't, that one full season you spent in the NBL. Probably you said it wasn't your best and stuff. So I was looking at your schedule. Your next upcoming game is against Panathinaikos, one of the biggest and most expensive clubs in the world. And the last time you played him, you scored 22 points. Really good game. And if everyone knows, because Panathinaikos came to Melbourne, we did exhibition games with them, with Melbourne United, Adelaide 36ers. I just find it very funny and ironic that, we're bringing these big clubs down just for exhibition games because they're like, yeah, cool. Look, Kendrick Nunn, one of the most expensive, paid players in Europe. You're just playing against these teams as part of just, the schedule because you're in Europe at the moment. So I just find that you've just come so far from Illawarra and the NBL to now you're playing against teams that we would be happy to get just for exhibition games. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy turn of events. So do you look at the scheduling, and you got Panathinaikos coming up next? Do you go Kendrick Nunn? That's it. You want to tackle that as hard as you can, and you want to like show him up a bit?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as you know, he's a great player, won MVP last year. And just that organization, right? Like, the guys they have on the team. And that's one thing that's sick about the EuroLeague. A lot of the former NBA guys are in EuroLeague now, right? So you get to play against them night in, night out. In a club like that, you'll go into Athens and their fans will be going crazy. Play in front of 15,000 yelling people in Greece. But I mean, for me, no, it's just another night, right? Because like I said, my mental has changed from Australia. And like, I know I belong. I know I'm one of the best guards in Europe right now, humbly speaking. Like that's why the ego in me wants to come back to Australia. And like,
yeah.
Like that's kind of how I want to go about it. But at the same time, it's the ego in me. It's not right. It's not the right approach. But now like in Europe, playing in EuroLeague and the best competition outside the NBA, it's just like, what I mean? Like everyone that thought I had a bad year, talk bad about me. It's like, now I'm back. I'm doing what I'm doing. Just trying to.
What's the saying? The best revenge is a life lived well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like the numbers, the money, and the money in Europe, the lifestyle, the games, everything. It's hard to beat, man. I can't lie. Like I'm really blessed.
No, you owned it. You earned it. You should be proud of it. All right, let's go. We're going to do the next segment. We've got 2 more segments. So we're just going to get some fan questions. So This one is so do you get more motivated and excited for LNB, so that the French League or EuroLeague games in terms of preparation, the mindset, or are they the same? So essentially, to sum it up, is your mindset and preparation the exact same for French League or EuroLeague?
Yes, that's a hard question. I mean, like it's my first season in Europe having double competition, right? So where we play French league games against French teams and just EuroLeague games against, outside of Europe or in Europe all around. It's hard because like we'll play a double week, right? Like say you go from playing Pana and Milano, then you got to fly home and get up for a game on, a Saturday or a Sunday against a team that's hungry as hell that's been waiting all week for you. It's like they're fresh, you're tired. So like at the beginning, it was hard for me to get up for the LNB games after EuroLeague games and kind of stand as my numbers. I was struggling in French league shooting. But now it's like, we want to win the league. They won the league last year. We want to continue that, right? So for me, it's getting to a point now the preparation and mindset is the same, right? Because I want to go into it with the standpoint of guys in French league playing me and being like, okay, I see why he's in EuroLeague. I see why he's on this team, running this team and having the numbers that he's having. Like I respect him, not as well. He's playing well in EuroLeague and he doesn't care about us. Like that's kind of a slap in the face to them and myself, to how I was raised. So I mean, it's getting better. Like the preparation and mindset for both leagues is becoming even. I've gotten better at it as I've tried to show in the last couple of games. So yeah.
The next question. So this is in terms of, because you've been in many different leagues across the world, is the training, amend this a bit. So is the intensity of training between the NBA, NBL and European clubs different? And probably to add, what do you find toughest? Which one do you find toughest?
The NBA, because, it's, the highest paid players in the world. You don't really practice much, right? You just go over scout, show up to the game, kind of know personnel, and everyone runs similar sets and things like that. NBL, the game schedule is more spread out, but it's not as intense training. Like preseasons, they try to do hard, but it's not that bad. Europe, the trainings are hard, right? Like preseasons, 2-a-days. Some teams still do 2-a-days throughout the season. I mean, with our schedule, we still have to find ways to have the chemistry, right? If you go to the finals in this league or you go to the playoffs in EuroLeague, combine those games, you probably play around 85 games. So the idea of that, you still have to find a way to get some chemistry and mesh. But at the same time, we're practicing hard as well. It's a constant thing because especially with our identity at Paris, it's to outwork the other team, outplay the other team, and have them tired at the end of the game. So we condition, we got to stay in shape and things like that. But I would easily say Europe is the hardest training of the three.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's sick. But I mean, that's the European mindset, right? The European motto. You're hard workers.
All right. So the next question is, which I guess everyone wants to know, is there any chance in the future you will return to the NBL?
Man, like I said, ego-wise, I really want to, only to, come back and show really who I am, what I'm capable of, and stop the commentators from talking bad about me when I was there. But
this is interesting. So you mentioned commentators twice now. Is there anyone specific?
Oh man, I think it's a little bit of a lot of them. Pete's my guy. Pete always held it down for me.
Peter Hooley?
But yeah, everybody else was, I wasn't living up to standard, like I said. It was a lot of bad talk on Justin Robinson, even from that standpoint. And that's cool,
That sounds like Damon Lowry talk to me a bit.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right. We'll compare careers at the end of the day, at the end of my time. We'll see how it goes. I'll talk a little trash. You can play that clip for him too, just to let him know. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I loved Australia. I loved the living. I think I would like to try another club and see how that would go and figure it out. Not saying that it'll happen, but, who knows what happens in my career. Obviously, the idea of me loving Australia and kind of where the league is trending to, I think so. I think there's a possibility. Who knows?
That's good. And so now we'll go into the last segment. So do you have it ever since you left the league? Obviously, you've got an incredibly busy schedule. You're a very busy player. Do you ever get time to catch up on the league at all since you left?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, even though the taste in my mouth in the league was bad, not because of them, but even organization wise, like I'm happy as hell that the Hawks won their championship. I watched it all happen.
That's
I was
awesome.
happy for I was happy for the guys. I still keep up with the league. My teammates always ask me, I'm in the locker room watching the NBL, and they're like, "Bro, why are you?" I'm like, "Cause, bro, like it left a place in my heart." You know what I mean? So I'm watching it. I was trying to see if the Hawks are gonna make it into the playoffs and make that push at the end. And like I still watch the guys. Like I still got immense respect for the guys that are killing it and just trying to do it. I mean, it's so up and up right now. Like I was watching United at the beginning of the year, and then they're kind of in a little slump. And it's interesting. Like I still, for me, think they're in the top 3 favorites for the league. But I mean, we'll see how it plays out. You play your best basketball in the playoffs, hopefully for them. But yeah, I mean, it's competitive, right? Like you see teams that are upsetting everyone. That's just how it goes. I mean, that kind of shows you how the league is. It's not just top heavy. It's a chance for everybody. So
unless you're Brisbane or Cairns, then everything else is good.
Yeah, but I mean, even they won a couple games, man. I mean, the games
a
I
couple
watched,
games.
the games I watched. I mean,
Yeah, okay. Maybe you're the good luck charm. So it's interesting when you mentioned that, like, your teammates asking you why you're watching the NBL and stuff. And Tony is Cleveland, like, I swear to God, quote for quote, said the exact same thing what you just said. And just like, he watches in Russia, he's playing in Russia at the moment. He will literally, you guys can have access to on NBL on YouTube, which is part of my French bullshit. Like, we got to pay for it here. And he said he's watching it like pre-game, post-game. He watched the games and stuff, and his teammates are saying, "Why are you still watching it? You're there for 2 seasons and stuff like that." And he is exactly saying, he's just like, has a place in my heart. It was a part of the team, and I'm sure you do the same if you moved on from Paris and stuff. You want to keep up with the league and everything. So,
for me, I just love hoops, bro. Like I watch NBL, I watch ACB where I played for those 9 games. I only played 9 games there, and I watch it and then like even in the domestic league here, I was watching the French league games last night. And then EuroLeague games, like, because EuroLeague games, I don't know if the people that are listening have ever watched. Like, it's just beautiful basketball. Like,
it is beautiful basketball. Yes,
it's you learn a lot from it. Like I'm watching guys, and I'm like, oh, okay, like maybe I'll add that into my bag this summer and things like that, and just you always learn from other people that you're watching, no matter what league it is.
So do you think if you came back to the league, hypothetically, say you're 30 years old, you've done Europe, you want to have a stint, say we'll go Melbourne United. What do you think you could average if they gave you the keys to the team? Because your career average, let's just get rid of the first season because it doesn't count. So 12 points a game, 3 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and not many 27 minutes, which I feel like you're capable of 38 minutes games because just your stamina and everything, the way you play. I could see you as a 15, 5 and 7 kind of guy, like 16, 5 and 7 PJC numbers.
It's interesting you say that, right? A month and a half ago in EuroLeague, I was averaging 17 and 18 minutes.
Wow.
And that's right, the toughest competition outside of the NBA. It's given me a lot more, comfortability of, being that person. Like leading up to the NBL and that system, I was a pass first point guard. So trying to change that was a little bit different. Like me personally, I'm not going to lie, I think I could come to the NBL and average like 16 and a half maybe.
Yeah, I see that. I see it.
6
I agree.
assists. Yeah. But I mean, the thing is, like, even in the NBL, I averaged 12, and I shot 29% from 3. I shot terribly, right? Like, come on, man. Like, if I'm normal, I left the NBL, went to Europe, and shot 40 from 3. Like, that's just realistic. But like I said, that's why the ego in me wants to kind of show that. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot more space, there's a lot more freedom in the NBL. You get to the rim easier than you do in Europe. And I think the European game has helped me grow the mindset of how to score, how to get to my spots, what shots to take, when not to take, and just like the ability to take over a game. Like I kind of had a couple of those games in the NBL, but not like consistently like I think I would now.
I just don't think you had that much opportunity. It was because it was a very sporadic season, 2 different coaches, and I want to get your thoughts actually, just quickly on. What do you think of Justin Tatum as a head coach? Like you spent over half a season as he's your coach. So what are your thoughts on him?
He's a player's coach, right? Like the guys, as you see, they play hard for him. He gives them confidence. Yeah, I mean, you have to put him in a conversation of being a good coach if he takes a team and wins a championship.
Yes.
The assistants he has are really good too. Like they help let the boat go, you know. But I mean, he knows how to connect with people and make them play hard and give them that confidence, right? Like, you know, he has guys that, you know, may not do something well in their game that are doing well in that specific area because he's letting them play through mistakes, letting them do things. And that's a big testament to him and kind of probably help from watching his son play a little bit and the things that he does to other teammates. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what the consensus is of where they think he's going to go, but I mean,
any coach that is going to lead, it's always Japan now. It's Japan this, Japan that, because Japan's rising, it's going nuts, and they have good money. And every import that stays for a season goes to Japan the next season. But
fun fact about Japan: I was just talking to Vic Law a couple of days ago.
Oh, really?
They're changing the cap space and stuff in Japan, so it's not going to be the same, you know. So
so Japanese B League Premier next season. So there will be a cap.
It's going to be a little different, you know what I mean?
So that's going to probably help the league for those listening. Is there won't be as many imports going over because, there's just not enough money to go around because of cap space. It's pretty much.
Yes.
Was that ever an interest for you? Was that Japan ever on the radar at all?
I don't think so. I mean, I've never really thought about it. Obviously, because it was.
It's tax free. It's US.
I mean, who knows, man? Like Tokyo is my dream destination, so
yeah. Wow. Okay.
Who knows what's going to happen? Like I said in my career, whether it's coming back to Australia, going to Japan, staying in Europe. I don't know, man. I'm just taking the punch.
Just enjoy the now.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So one more question for me is, with this season, I know you might not have followed this entirety of the season, but have you followed enough to probably give a detailed answer in terms of what went wrong with Illawarra Hawks this season? In terms, do you feel JaVale McGee, big name, 3-time NBA champion, was a good fit, but where do you think it went wrong?
Look, I can't say it's JaVale McGee wasn't a good fit because of what he put up, like the numbers he's putting up. Like
Insane
he may slow down their pace at times, but even if you look at our season, we were giving the ball to Gary and Sam every possession because that's kind of who Tatum is as a coach, right? He likes the inside game. So I can't say that, but also at the same time, like you have to be aware of how to get Tyler going at all times. You got to be aware of, you know, just the players you have around you. And, you know, I don't know too much about what's going on in the locker room or things like that. I just feel like, you know, it was just you win a championship for the first time ever. Maybe some cockiness goes into it of, you know, now we're here, this and that. You just don't show out the way you're supposed to. That's what I would say. But, I mean, big ups to those guys. Like, they made a push at the end of the season to try to even still be in the
they did.
I mean, there were a couple of games off, but at the same time, they did go through not having Davo at the beginning of the year, which is a big loss. And then you go through a couple imports that they're trying to just try out and see if it works. But like I said, it's all about opportunity and situation. You can't say the McLaughlin guy was terrible. He just didn't have enough time and opportunity to go through it.
He was playing, like, I think I was pretty hard on him at the start of the season, but then looking back, it's just like he was playing a position that wasn't suited for him. Hickey was out and he was forced to play the facilitator, which is really not, based on what I'm looking at, because he's in the G League at the moment. It's just like, it's just not his role. It's just one of those things. But
I mean, that's where it gets tricky, right? And then like I said, I don't know if the commentators are told to talk bad about these players or not, but then you start hearing all this outside stuff, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like, no offense to the commentators, but kind of who gave you that right to talk down on these people, right? Like, no offense to any certain commentators. It's just like, it's not like you're LeBron, Kobe, that where you can talk about these guys like that. There's one guy that gets on the commentator crew that has the ability to do that, and that MVP trophy is named after him. That's just my personal opinion. And he doesn't do that. So, I mean, you know, it kind of sucks at times for those players that are hearing it because you're not really going to say something back or be able to say anything back. But yeah,
There are
man,
some players that do. Parker Jackson Cartwright did it last season with Derek Rucko. He kind of had a bit of
deservedly, bro, right? I watched the clip with him, hitting the shot against Sydney and then talking his big ones. And then, even now, like, how hard is it I saw a clip, you get Bryce riled up, and it's just like, I mean, come on, man. Let's be realistic. I feel bad for the award crew or whoever's giving out the awards because the MVP, I mean.
What are your thoughts? Did you know much about Kendrick prior to this NBL stint?
I didn't know anything about Kendrick before. I learned about him, last year watching, and then now this year. Hey man, he might be the one to take that throne from Bryce this year, to be honest, because I mean, I don't even know. It's not even like a loud 30 that he's getting, but I'm just looking at the end of the game and 30 and 7, 30 and 8, and his team's winning. I don't know, man. But then you see the last game with Bryce, and he's still putting his little 1A, 1B. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's apples, orange. It's who you ask. Everyone's going to have a different opinion. Is it quantity over quality?
But I'm saying, do you do what the NBA did? Like Jokic, I think could have won last year as well, but he's won it 3 times, whatever. Do you let Kendrick have one, and then if
I don't believe in that. I hate that rule. I don't leave just because it's voters fatigue. I hate that shit. I think if a player is good enough to win the MVP every year, he should be winning it every year. It's up to the rest of the competition to outplay that player.
I know, but this situation with Kendrick, is he outplaying Bryce right now?
At the moment, it's so hard.
See, it's tricky. It's tricky if we don't say it. Just keep your opinion to yourself. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. When Bryce signed with Adelaide, did that shock you? Did you look at that on the news? Where did you see that?
I looked at it. You know what's crazy? Like I told you, I still keep up with it, and my mom knows about the league too, because obviously. I called her, and I'm like, "Yo, like some stuff is shaking up in NBL." She thought it was bad. She's like, "What's happened?" I'm like, "No. Bryce left Perth," and she's like, "Wait, what?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like." The city's in his hands there. Like something had to have been mismanaged terribly for him to leave.
Yes.
And no matter what anybody says, there's no way that, anybody's just going to up and leave Perth in that situation where, Perth is Bryce. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
The last question. So during your time when you played your full season in the NBL 24 year, who was a player you respectfully hated playing? Like they were just absolute torment. Like for instance, Antonius Cleveland said Sean Bruce was the most annoying, but awesome player because he just got in your head.
He's a little slick one. Bruce is definitely a slick one, but for me, I think honestly my toughest guard that year because anything was probably Jordan Crawford.
Yeah, wow.
Because he's just shifty. I mean, obviously he was in that system to where he didn't have full reign to just do anything. But once he got going, annoying wise, I would probably say Bull Kowal, honestly. I mean, because he can defend, but since he's known for defense, the refs let him get away with a lot. And the year that he had coming off of that South Sudan year, and then was shooting it really well. I thought he was going to get a chance to go to the NBA. That's what I thought.
Oh, wow.
But didn't happen. Hopefully he recovers some injury. But, yeah, bro, if you're listening, it's a little annoying. It's okay, though. I appreciate you guys having me on. Obviously, it was cool to kind of get some of this, not off my chest, but talk about it. Be cool. Obviously, all love to Australia. I loved it there. We'll always continue to love it there. Always keep up. To the fans of the Gong, obviously appreciate your support still, the messages I get on Instagram. I love it, right? I loved the Gong. I loved Australia. I thank you guys, and it's always all love from me.